Hello, and welcome to Diary of an Independent Artist. I'm your host, Rachel Winters. This is my guest, Dustin, and today we're doing Am I the A-Hole Music Industry Edition. I'm going to give you 3 stories, and you tell me which one you want to do.
Fantastic.
Okay. The first one is leaving a music business. The second is girlfriend's music isn't that special. Third,
Okay.
third is wife's opera career.
Ooh, man. And the first one was leaving a music business. Mm-hmm. I kind of want to go with the second one. I'm not going to lie. It just sounds very entertaining.
You like the tea? So you want to go with girlfriend's music isn't that special?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I would also like to point out, look how much more properly you sit than I do. I'm way taller than you, and yet I'm literally shorter than you right now. My posture sucks. Okay, anyways.
Well, I have a long torso. You ready?
Yes.
Am I the a-hole for saying that my girlfriend's music isn't that special? Please let me preface this by saying that I love my girlfriend and I love the fact that she's very passionate about her music. I think it's cute that she still plays in the band she formed in high school.
Pause. Cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that rubbed me wrong too.
Not a great word. I mean, I don't. Oh, is your microphone's literally falling?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dipping down.
Okay. You had thoughts on cute.
Yeah, so
Well, maybe we should get through the story.
all right, let's do it.
Yeah, but cute rubbed me wrong too. They play in pubs or the occasional town festival, but all of them need to work a real job to pay bills. I'm not trying to devalue that. I'm currently at uni on scholarship, but I need to work a part-time job to afford rent. My girlfriend is a very kind and warm person, but she can also still be a bit naive about how the world works. We met up with a few friends tonight, and at some point, the topic of our plans for future came up. My girlfriend said something along the lines of, maybe we're lucky and our music gets discovered so I won't have to choose an adult career. She said it in a joking way and all our friends laughed except for me. She looked at me weirdly and asked why I was looking like that. I told her I just didn't think she should get her hopes up like that because her music was good but not special enough for her to turn it into a career. That kind of killed the mood, and even though someone changed the topic quickly, my girlfriend stayed cold towards me.
That kind of killed the mood?
Yeah, no shit.
No.
You don't say.
No. Surely not.
I was terrible to everyone involved, and it kind of killed the mood. You don't say. That kind of killed the mood, and even though someone changed the topic quickly, my girlfriend stayed cold towards me. I decided to leave about 30 minutes later because it was getting late, and I have uni tomorrow morning. When I told my girlfriend that we had to go, she said I should go without her and that she'll be staying with a friend tonight. When I got home, I texted her asking her to please let me know when they left and when they get to her friend's place because I wanted to know that she made it there safe. She left me on red, and even though it's past the time she usually stays out, she still hasn't texted me. I'm actually a little pissed off right now because why is she being so childish right now? What I said was objectively true, and she'll have to realize that at some point. Thoughts?
Okay. Well, several things. If I'm remembering this story correctly, he brought the stuff up about her not having a realistic expectation in front of other people.
Yeah, he did. A group of friends.
A group of friends, and he's like, homegirl, your music's not that good. And
all the other friends are musicians as well.
Yeah. That is definitely unacceptable. You know, I have a sympathy for people thinking that it's not practical, right? I mean,
like sympathy,
as in, like if they feel those things, and if they kind of maybe wish that people would, like
an understanding, like you can understand why they would feel that way, or you sympathize like you've felt that way before. I
mean, I can understand how they would feel that way. I've had moments where I've seen like musicians where I'm like, you know, like, okay, like it's less likely, you know, like you'd have to work harder than other musicians, right, to make it happen. Like I've seen that. Still doesn't mean it can't happen. Because there are musicians that do quite well that I think are not that amazing. So, you know, so it can happen. So I sympathize with the perspective of, you know, sometimes people being like, you know, well, you need to be more realistic about this kind of stuff. I don't agree with that, but I wouldn't be like mad at the guy for feeling like, you know, oh, well, you know, maybe like we should have more realistic perspective on this. But the thing where he's like, hey, in front of a group of people, like, your music is not good enough. You need to have better expectations. That is crazy town. That is like, he is.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just, he is, you know, very inappropriately kind of putting his girlfriend on blast in front of people, you know, crushing her in front of her friends. I mean, that's crazy. Didn't sound like it like became a fight, you know? So when he starts messaging her saying, hey, I want to make sure you're okay, you know, I will say, you know, like, he's still trying to, like, it kind of sounds like he's a good guy who did something very, very stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
I disagree.
You think he's a bad person?
I'm not saying I think he's a bad person. I think the way he views his girlfriend is bad. There's a couple things. Like, the way he describes her music career clearly is very belittling to me.
I agree with that.
Like, that's just how he views it. That's really obvious to me, number one. Number two, to have gone through that whole experience, to see her reaction to it and still think that you're in the right posting on Reddit like this, to be like, I was terrible to my girlfriend and made the party like super awkward, but I'm pissed right now because she's not responding to me. But number three, the most important thing to me, it's just wild to me to hear your partner voice a dream or an ambition and to meet them with anything less than, how can I help you achieve that? What do we need to do to get there? Yeah. What does that look like for you? How can I support you?
Yeah, I totally get that.
If you don't believe that your partner is capable of things they set their mind to, then that's a different thing, and you probably shouldn't be with them. But like, set her free so she can go find somebody that like believes in her. It's terrible. Yeah,
and it's kind of one of these things where here's the context that like I'm giving him like maybe the benefit of the doubt of, and it's still not.
You don't ever say it. You don't say it. Well, you can feel however you want to feel, but you don't ever say it.
Well, and
those are the kind of white lies that are okay.
No, I mean, it's not even like, I actually believe, I agree with you in the sense that you ought to support your loved one in that endeavor. Cause you know, like there are entrepreneurs who go, they like, you know, oh, I want to make it in the tech world, you know, and it's like, that's a big ambition, you know, like that's, you know, to say like, I'm going to make it in the world of tech, you know, requires a lot, you know? And so your loved one should look at that and go, all right, like no matter the odds, like I support you, I've got your back. But then the other side of it is,
you think they don't know that? You think they need to hear the person that should be their safe space tell them what the rest of the world is telling them?
Oh no, I know.
Which is, this is impossible. This is not going to work for you. I would be devastated if I can't. I just said this the other day. My delusional confidence only turns into like the reality of success because you support me in it.
Aww.
Or maybe not only, but it's a large part of the reason why my delusional confidence actually turns into success in reality, because I throw stuff out there that is not practical at all.
Yeah.
And I would be devastated if you ever treated me like,
oh yeah,
like I couldn't do it.
I feel the same way. Like you support me in all the things that I do. And you know, if things are looking bad one month, you know, and the month before was looking a lot better, like, you know, you don't make me feel bad about that, or like, you know, nothing's ever like seeming like it's coming down. You know, you're always really good at being consistent in that support. What I was going to say on his end though, you know, if I were like, okay, I want to go make it in the world of tech, and you were like, oh, okay, well, I support that, I'm totally behind you, and then you saw that I was like not doing any of the things that actually are required to make it in the world of tech, then you would be justified in coming to me and saying, hey, like, this will not work, not because you inherently can't do it, but because you're not doing the thing that it takes to get it done. If he sees what she is doing and she's treating it like just a cutesy little hobby, like she's like, maybe her music is actually pretty good, but they're just not doing what it takes to find success, then I could see him being like, no, not publicly, not in front of people, and certainly not getting online and typing it out, you know, but like, you go have a private conversation and you're like, hey, look, I want to support your dreams 100%. I
Yeah.
want to be your biggest fan. I want to be behind you 100%. But if we're going to grow in our relationship and have a future together, I want you to like really do this if you're going to say
Yeah,
you're doing it.
but
But
you
you
would
don't
be-
do what he's doing.
You would be justified if I was betting only on my artist career and not doing the things that I needed to do to get there, and was like frustrated that I wasn't getting where I wanted to be. He even said that she said it jokingly, and that she actually like is in the process of like soon is when she's going to be picking her like adult career or adult job, I think is how she worded it. Now, if tech interested you and you had always had dreams of being in the tech world, and every time we went to a party, you kind of use it as a conversation starter of like, oh yeah, I'm going to try to make it in the tech world one day. But we go home and you're not, doing anything tech related, but it's like, but you're not over here like crying in my arms about where you are in the tech world. You're not playing video games on the couch all day, jobless because you're going to make it in the tech world. I still don't think I'd be justified in saying anything to you. Like, let people say what they want to say, do what they want to do, believe in themselves however they want to believe in themselves. Like, but to take the opportunity, it seems like he's the kind of guy that's searching for any opportunity to like stomp on his girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Which is maybe like a really
I was gonna
callous
say,
view
I
of
don't
it.
know. I don't know if he's that far. Like, I don't know if he's like really that
It's just
kind
all
of
I'm
person.
saying is like, it's not that deep.
Yeah, I was gonna. The bigger
Why
thing
did he
to
have
me,
to make it so deep? She was like
Yeah.
joking. He even said she brought it up in a joking manner, and I took that moment to correct her
yeah,
and let her know
and
what a
that's-
piece of shit she is.
I was
And her
gonna
music
say,
career sucks,
to me, this is the side of it where I'm like, okay, this guy, as far as the am I the a-hole, like he is, clearly 100% all the way through. So like in his mind, he's thinking, no, like I'm the good guy. I'm being the hero. I'm coming in and saving you from wasting your
Villains-
entire life.
Villains almost never think that
Exactly.
they're
I
the
was
bad
gonna
guy.
say, he's like, so
What's the word? Seldom. Villains.
yeah,
Villains
just
seldom
the
think
same way
they're the
that,
bad guy.
that Thanos thought that, he was doing a good thing by
Yeah,
getting
just
rid
'cause
of half the
just because
universe.
his perspective is that he's the good guy doesn't make him the good guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So consensus is
Oh, he's the a-hole
he's the a-hole.
for sure.
Okay, let me read some of the top comments and then we'll move on to the next topic.
No, I was just gonna say there's actually one other side to all of this, which is like, this is my, old school self. He should not be worried about her career anyways. Dude, if you're
Like,
gonna
as
be
in he should take care of her.
yeah, I'm like, dude, if you're gonna be with her, like like
That's right. I'm just kidding.
let her do her thing. I mean, like you're
Step it up for me.
you're
Step it up, big dog. Okay, top comment is, you are the a-hole. What was the point of saying that? What was the point of saying it in front of other people? It was mean and hurtful and served no purpose other than to belittle her in front of a group of friends. She said it in a joking manner, not in a serious conversation about the future between the two of you. Insulting, belittling a girlfriend in front of others is a giant red flag.
Yeah. That's true.
Second top comment is, you are the asshole. What's your major ? What if during this plans for the future discussion, you mentioned having X career that you're studying for and she laughed it off, explaining that it's cute, you're in school and all, but you're just not smart enough to really excel in that profession. Would you not consider this a public insult? Or would you not consider this A, a public insult, and B, proof that she doesn't think very highly of you or your passions? Yeah, that was like where I was at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the...
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not dating him. For sure.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so I'll read you off 3 different stories and you can pick which one. Leaving a friend's gig early.
Okay.
Son's music career. Or being the artist neighbor.
Ooh. Which one do you think?
I so badly want to do leaving a friend's gig early.
Me too. Okay.
Am I the a-hole for leaving my friend's gig early? I, 19 male, have quite a few friends in the music industry, and because of this, I go to a lot of gigs in local bars and clubs. Recently, my friend started up a band with him as the lead singer. They had their first gig booked at a local bar, and he invited me. I bought a ticket and went to show my support. Not to be mean, but it was awful. Imagine a choir of cats being dragged by their tails and then thrown into a wood chipper. I tried my best to stay and be a good friend, but it was just too much. I ended up leaving about 30 minutes into the gig. It was about a 1.5-hour gig. I sent him a message saying that there was an emergency at home and I had to leave early, but I enjoyed what I heard. I left it at that to not hurt his feelings. About an hour later, he messaged me saying that I was a liar because he had messaged my brother asking if my family was okay, and my brother told him there was no emergency. He demanded that I be honest with him, so I was. I didn't say you sound like shit. It was more like you have potential, but you aren't quite there yet. He called me an unsupportive dickhead and blocked me. I feel bad, but he did ask for my honest opinion. Am I the a-hole?
Okay. No, you're not the a-hole. I personally will leave a gig early.
Yeah.
Like, I have no hesitation
We're
in
Irish
doing
goodbyers.
that. Yeah, that's a good one.
Because we most of the time have to be up at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Or like just early.
I don't even...
It doesn't even matter.
I was going to say, to
You
me...
supported your friend when you bought a ticket. And
Yeah.
you drove your ass out there, found a parking spot, parked your car, got out, walked into the venue. You supported your friend. It's also weird of him to like call your brother.
So,
who cares why someone left? Why would you want somebody to continue to stay somewhere they don't want to be? Mm-hmm. Sorry.
You're good.
Go ahead.
So I think that him, showing up and supporting his friend, I agree with all that. The side of it where it's like, you don't, in my view of things, you don't make up a thing about why you left. You just leave.
You just say nothing.
Yeah, you just leave. Glad I was able to make it out to your show. Whatever. Just, give them the love. You don't have to be like, oh man, I gotta make, I gotta go. I have to leave. Like, you just be like, hey, I just want to go home. I just, I do. I just want to go home, whatever. But then like I will say like the guy like fact checking his story, like texting his brother and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that's
weird.
That's a little crazy. Like,
you would love this at the Continental Club show when Whitney was heading out. She hugged me to say bye, but I thought what I thought I heard her saying to my ear was like, see you at Big Top. So I thought she said she was going over to Big Top, and I was like, oh, are you heading over to Big Top? And she was like, no, I'm hungry. And I was like, I love that. I appreciate the honesty.
This guy's not the a-hole for leaving. He's not the a-hole for telling his friend the truth. When his friend said, like, tell me what's going on. Like, if you demand honesty, you can't be mad at people. Especially if he couches it in language like you're not there yet, but you can be.
I get why the friend that's the artist is like a little sensitive in the situation because it's his art, it's their first gig. But again, it's not that deep. Like it's giving I'm the main character in everyone's story energy.
Yeah.
Like people have lives. Like we almost every time we go out to a gig, that's not the only gig we're going to see that night. Like I remember a night where we went and saw like 3 artists in one night, like Lilith, Sorry Sarah, and then somebody else. I can't remember. But we showed up, we bought tickets, we, were a present part of the crowd. Like that's support.
Yeah. So I will say this is the thing. I always have to like have a little bit of devil's advocate in my mind on these things when it comes to these types of stories, because there isn't like clearly from his post, he despises like his friend's music.
Yeah. So, the way he worded it, how did he word it?
He said
it was awful. Imagine a choir of cats being. I think he's trying to be funny, but it's not. It's
right. So
tactless.
The thing that makes me wonder is, based on how he's typing that out, the context that we maybe don't know is like how he left. Like did he in fact leave?
Oh, like did he make a big showing of it? Like everyone else saw him leave. Like it's literally middle of like a quiet ballad song, and he's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's the thing you don't really know as far as like, I mean, was he rolling his eyes? Was he making faces? People do that,
But that's the thing, like address that.
Sure.
You're right, though. We do have to remember we only ever hear like this one side.
Yeah. So that's the thing where I'm always like, it's like, I don't think this guy's the a-hole, but is it possible that I'm wrong and that he actually, there's things that he's doing that we don't really know about? Yeah, it's possible.
Okay, so consensus. I'm going to say not the a-hole.
He's not the a-hole.
Let's read the top comment. Not the a-hole. Next time you could just say, I enjoyed my time, but I was tired and went home. Save family emergencies for more dire situations, just in my personal opinion. But you went to support him and he pressed for the truth. Okay, this person says, just the fact they noticed you leaving and then called your brother to confirm shows they know they are awful and need someone to blame. But honestly, they sound like small children putting on a school performance, and only those must attend. Hold on.
I'm going to push back a little bit on that, because it's not that they only noticed him leaving. He sent them a message. He left and then sent them a message. They didn't inquire first.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that commenter is misunderstanding part of the story. That's my point. That's why an Irish goodbye,
That's what I'm saying. 'Cause they don't know when you left.
We are some Irish goodbyers, and it's
They
the
don't
way
know
to
if you
go.
stayed the whole night. They don't know if you stayed for 10 minutes.
I'm the type of person that if I'm putting on a show or an event and somebody's got to go, I'm totally glad for them to say, "Hey, I'm leaving." I love that. It doesn't make me sad. It doesn't, like you were saying, like, it bums you out that people are leaving. I'm not that way. It doesn't bum me out that they're leaving at all.
But they're busy. Like,
it also doesn't bum me out that they just leave without talking to me.
Yeah.
I don't need them to talk to me. I do also like to go tell people goodbye. There are certain times when I do. You know what I mean? There are certain things where I'm like, no, I'm going to go say bye to like every person in here. Like, but that's usually like close family. Like, that's.
Or if it's
I'm
like,
gonna get a hug.
I will. It depends on the context. If it's like an artist's first debut show or something, I'll do my best to stay to the end and like talk to them because, it's like it's hard getting into things in this scene, and I think that as a community we should, encourage that, and we should like support people. Or if it's like, I don't know. It just depends on the context. If I know that somebody's been going through a rough time or something, like, or like the church thing the other day where we went and saw your students sing at church.
Yeah.
It's like a much more like close-knit thing. We're like literally sitting with her parents. That would have been super awkward to like Irish goodbye. Can you imagine? They're like in the middle of like praising and we're just like.
Hey, well, maybe that happened.
Scooting out of the back door. That's true.
Maybe this guy did that.
To your point, yeah.
That's kind of like, it's like so I don't think he's the
You also got to read
but
the room. Don't like exit awkwardly.
Yes. Yeah.
It has to be inconspicuous.
Yeah.
To close things out, we're going to end with a discussion about a topic that's more general in the music industry. So I'll give you the options and you can let me know which one you want to discuss.
Okay.
The topics are free collabs, irresponsible band leader, or the fear of AI.
I just kind of feel like free collabs is a little bit more the real world, I mean, I know everyone's afraid of AI, but like, I'm not. So yeah.
Well, don't discuss it too much, or else we'll be discussing it.
That's true. All right.
So
let's
suck the words back into your mouth. Okay, free collabs is the topic we're going with. Am I the a-hole singer/collab edition? I am a member of some music makers groups on Facebook. A guy in one of the group chats tagged me about doing a collab. I was supposed to singing the hook. Okay, his grammar. I'm going to try to fill it in. I was supposed to be singing the hook, and he was supposed to rap. I said, okay. I was in the process of moving and had a lot of stuff going on with my pets, and I said I would do it when I got to it. He said he understood, but would call me and talk about the creative process for like an hour via Facebook and keep messaging me as if I don't have a life. Okay, so it sounds like he's saying yes to the collab, but he's like, I can't prioritize it, so I'll get to it when I get to it. But the guy keeps taking up a lot of his time on phone calls and like Facebook Messenger. I'm starting to think he has no job or other outlets if he's just able to stay on Facebook all day, but I was patient. I got it done via BandLab, and it sounded pretty good. This was in late December, early January. Now he wants another collab. I sang a little at the beginning and rapped at the end. I sent him the vocals. Now he is saying that he wants it done differently. He wants me to repeat what he is saying in the beginning of the track. The problem is he's saying so much like he is Busta Rhymes or something. I can't even understand what he's saying. Okay, well, you can have him type out a lyric sheet. Now he's messaging me, asking me, have you done it yet? Are you going to do it tonight? Now I'm going to tell you what I think, and you tell me if I'm being unfair. I don't mind doing a collab with someone, but if I'm doing it for free, I get to it when I effing get to it. I don't want you messaging me or calling me all day long about what you want on a track unless you are Missy Elliott and are paying me. This dude is a talented rapper and I see potential. I don't mind helping someone out, but it has to be on my time unless you are paying me. And if I don't feel like doing it, that is my right. Am I the a-hole, or is this dude just being too needy and inconsiderate? I also was talking about maybe distributing the first song we did. I asked if he was signed to any distributor like DistroKid. You don't sign to...
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Like DistroKid or a PRO. which is a performance rights organization.
Not a
for
distributor.
those that don't know. Those are two different things completely. Or anything. And he said he wasn't. I was willing to help him get signed up so he could make money off these tracks because, like I said, he has... Oh, not signed on if he signed up for. That. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I was willing to help him get signed up so he could make money off these tracks because, like I said, he has skills, but he didn't seem too interested in that. It's like he just wants to make these tracks in his mom's basement while not trying to get royalties and stuff for his kids' futures. Whoa, why'd you gotta bring his kids into it? He's a prolific artist. Every day he has another song he's done uploaded to BandLab. He could be great, but he is worrying me to death. Okay, so that was long. Let me give a synopsis. Sounds like clearly the guy is not like distributing the music as you typically would.
It sounds like he just has a hobby.
But he's uploading it on BandLab, which I'm not sure what that is. It sounds maybe like it's almost like SoundCloud. Yeah. So he's still putting it out there, but he's not like distributing it. And the gist I get is that this guy has agreed to do now 2 free collabs with him. And that he feels like he's being pestered and that the guy's taking up too much of his time in communication. Does that like...
Yeah, that's
feel
the
like
gist
it
of it.
sums it up. Yeah. Okay.
And he kind of is, I think he thinks he's doing these collabs hoping that they'll be released to the world, and they're not being. So it's like, why am I doing a free collab if
I have many thoughts. Should I like...
Me too.
Do you want to start or should I start?
You can go ahead.
Okay, so my first thought is like, just to speak broadly about collabs and how I believe they should be approached, or not really how I believe they should be approached, but how I approach them, is I never say yes to something I don't want to do, whether it be paid or unpaid. And number 2, I try to make sure expectations are set on both sides. So collabs for fun are great. I've done some of those before, but most of the time when artists collab together, there's either going to be an exchange of money or an exchange of something else, like, you know, an exchange of, oh, I want to do this collab because I want to reach your audience. Mm-hmm. Or I want to do this collab because, you know, maybe I just genuinely like this person's vocals and I can promote and it'll be like more content for me. Whatever, you're generally getting something out of it. So if it's important to you that they be distributed through a proper distributor, I think it's your responsibility to communicate that. It's basically like no one really collabs for free, right? Because when you're collabing for free, what the cost is are your terms. You state your terms. Uh-huh. So I've done that. Like when I collabed with Rome, we talked about royalties. I was like, yeah, I'll do it, you know, for free. But this is, you know, what I need in terms of royalties. That won't cost you anything up front. I will only financially benefit if you financially benefit. Right. And he was great about it. He was like, yeah, totally makes sense. Let's do it. Secondly, if you didn't like the experience the first time, why did you do it again? Mm-hmm. He seems to have like a disdain for this guy. Yeah. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
So a couple of things. I think, first of all, his attitude of if I agree to do it for free, then it's on my time. Set expectations. Well, that's only understandable to a degree. Like, it's kind of like, yeah, but you did agree to do it. And so if you're going to take, 6 months to complete something that shouldn't take 6 months, then don't agree.
But communicate it. Give a time frame so the other person on the other end knows what to expect. But to be left in the air is like disrespectful.
If you know it's going to take 6 months, then that's one thing, and you can give the guy that way. The person knows, like, oh well, maybe I want to move on because I don't feel like waiting 6 months.
Right. Clarity is kindness. You're the one who told me that.
Yeah, exactly. So the other thing is if you you tell him however long it takes, but and if you don't, like, let's say you say, yeah, I'm going to do it, and you're thinking to yourself, well, certainly wouldn't take 6 months. And it's like, but you end up taking too long anyway. It's like you do actually kind of have the time, but you're like, I just don't feel like it right now. So, I'm going to do something else. Like, there's some wiggle room on that. But in general, if you agree to do something, you should honor that. You should do the thing that you said that you would do.
Should see it through.
And yeah, I mean, communication at the beginning is really important. A lot of that stuff should have been clarified, especially the distribution of the song. That should have been clarified. And if the guy is pestering you, if he's bothering you, then you can also communicate that, like that, be like, hey, I am working on this and I'm trying to get around to it, but I need you to let it lie for a little bit. Because I'm not going to be able to get to it. In other words, there's every pester that the guy sends your way is an opportunity for you to communicate what his expectations need to be. Yeah. If you just say, yeah, I'll work on it when I get around to it, he's going to keep pestering you. Well, and what's funny is
if you've committed to finishing the song, that means the ball's in your park. He can't do anything with his art until you're done with your end.
Yeah. Now,
so if it's going to take forever and he's not down for that, communicate it so that he can be like you said, no, I'm good, I'm going to move on. Because who knows, he might want to release the song in 2 months and he has no communication on it if that's possible.
Well, and what he was saying is that the guy's not releasing the music.
Or he might want to put it on BandLab. I was going to say, send it to his grandma. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like even if he's not releasing it, he still wants to get it done and move on to the next thing. And, so it's like, yes, you are allowed to, say, hey, I'm doing this for free. It needs to be on my time and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like that's good to say, but if that can so quickly turn into just a cop out for never doing the thing. I know this because I'm a procrastinator. So like, I'm the type of person who can easily slip into that. Like, right. I'm the kind of person who somebody says, hey, will you take care of this for me? And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then it just keeps getting pushed down the priority list a little bit further and a little bit further and a little bit further. And it's like, so I understand, how the guy like kind of feels. And it's like, I'm the kind of personality that could do that. But I also like stepping outside of myself. I'm able to recognize, that's an area of character that I know that I want to grow in. I want to be better for people on that dependability side of things. So.
Yeah, that's why you set dates for yourself and communicate. Like, hey man, like I said, I'll get to this when I'm able to get to it. I've like got it on my calendar to work on it this weekend. But if something comes up,
right.
Like my son is in baseball tryouts right now, so something may come up.
Sure.
The next time I'll be able to, try to get to it. You just communicate, but to be like, yeah, I'll be on your project, which means the ball's in my park, and you can't move forward with your project until I'm done with my part. And then to just be like, why the hell are you pestering me?
Yeah.
I would be like pestering you too. I'd be upset.
Yeah.
I'd be like, either get it done or I'm going to move on.
I have died out on some projects before. I have. Like I've worked with some people who were like, like, oh yeah, like let's do this and like get really into it. And I'm the one who dies out. And it's like, the truth is like the best thing I could do in that scenario is like self-evaluate. If I'm able to do it, sure. If I'm not, just be honest with myself and just not take it, like say no, and that's kind of a hard thing for people to do sometimes. But honestly, like, especially
in the music industry, because it's like, there are so many creative people. We want to work with everyone. I've fallen into that, saying yes to too many projects.
And you want to be friendly. Like, you don't want them to feel like you saying no is like a reflection of how you feel about them. It's like, no, bro, like it's a reflection of myself.
How I feel about me.
Like, like I'm not dependable enough to get this done for you.
And there's just so much like genuine talent to collab with that it's like, but it's impossible to.
Oh yeah. You can't get
work with everyone. Yeah. So what is your general opinion on free collabs?
I think that you should always have good clarity of, what everyone's expectations are. So free, are you doing it for free in the sense of you just want your name on it so you can have credit, maybe get royalties or whatever? Are you doing it for free, or you're just like, I literally just, whatever happens with this song, I'm truly, it's free. Now I will say this. A lot of people feel like they can do that. Like, oh, totally. I don't care. It never matters until it matters. I mean, if that song blows up, 99% of people who are truly like in their heart in the moment, they're like, I really don't care. Totally fine. If it blows up and makes millions of dollars, 99% of people are going to be like, okay, actually, I kind of do care. Like,
Yeah, we need to reassess.
I was a part of making that blow up.
Yeah.
So I think being honest with yourself and knowing what you're getting into,
which is why I'm such a fan of just asking for the royalties up front. Just on principle, even if the song never makes any money, because I would feel weird. I wouldn't feel wrong, but I would feel weird about down the line being like, yo, I know I said I didn't want any royalties on this, but now I need you to give me royalties.
Yeah.
I'd rather just like, no, whether it makes $0 or $1 million, I want my whatever percent.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah. I think that doing collaborations for free, as long as everyone's communicating what free really means.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I actually feel like the way that people go about business in the area that we live in Texas is almost expecting things not to do that well, because it's so not taken care of. Like it's so loosey goosey. It's like, and people really only feel that way when they are very confident that like it's not going to be a big deal. Like if you really feel like something is going to be truly successful, you're going to tighten that up. You're going to want this to be like, you want to make sure that you're getting business done the right way.
Yeah.
And in where we are right now, it's like there's so much of no one's really
right
taking care of business, and then there's the other,
but
I know it does happen everywhere, but I'm just saying like I've seen some experiences where we're working with a producer who has a manager and they're like like they get it
done,
ironed out.
Also, before we get too far off of like the main topic, I also want to make a distinction between a collaboration and a feature. Those are two different things to me. And, just to kind of speak generally on like my thoughts on both and free for both, like a feature would be something where I'm featured on it. Either that for me could mean either they wrote the part and I sing it, or I write the part and I sing it. It wouldn't typically be like me singing the whole song. If I'm singing the whole song, that's going to be a vocal for hire, something like that usually. But a feature typically is not something that I will promote on my social media. Not that I'm opposed to it. That's just how I separate it in my mind. It's not something that I typically will be promoting on my social media and on my platforms. It's typically something that people ask, essentially the same as like a musician for hire or like a feature for hire. So most people that have emailed me or inquired to me like get that, and they ask me like, hey, how much for a feature? A collaboration, on the other hand, is something that I most of the time will promote on my own social media. It's truly like our song together.
Right.
And those I'm not as opposed to doing for free, or like we'll call it free. I still ask for a royalty, or I let them know like these are my expectations when it comes to promotion. Like, ideally you'd put this much behind ad spend. Ideally you'd make at least this many posts about it. We can make some collaborative posts.
Yeah.
However, that means that I'm much more selective with collaborations.
Yeah.
If it's a feature and it's a paid feature, I'm much more likely to say yes, because I don't need to have any control over it. I don't need to spend a ton of my time on it.
That reminds me of, okay, so one thing I will say on the whole collaborative, discussion is something that people need to be careful about is just assuming that like the person asking for the collaboration should not just assume that there's no terms. Because that happens
Yeah.
sometimes where people are like they're just, oh, I just assumed it would be whatever.
People are very blasé about it. It's like
Yeah,
the people that are like,
yeah,
let's get together and jam.
Yeah, you gotta be mindful of
This
what
is a
you're asking
business.
and stuff. But I will say it's a balance. It's knowing who you are to what people you're talking to.
Yeah.
So because I do think there's a lot of room for just, I know some people who if they were like, you want to write a song together, I'd be like, absolutely. And I
Yeah.
wouldn't have any other discussion about it. Like,
Yeah.
we would just be writing a song with each other just because I'm like, I just like this person. We get along, we
Yeah.
have,
But
we
there are-
make good stuff,
Yeah, but there are people that don't, they're not super considerate and they don't really respect people's time.
Yeah, that's
Like when somebody,
yeah, don't be one of those guys.
yeah,
you know
when
what I mean?
somebody
Like,
is caught off guard that you ask for compensation for their time on a feature or a collab, because plenty of people do charge for collabs. Everything I was talking about earlier is just like kind of my take on it. For people to act so caught off guard, like offended that you would ask to be compensated for your time. I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't compensate them for their time. That's something like y'all need to discuss together, because maybe you can find a mutually beneficial thing that can happen, and maybe no money needs to exchange hands. That happens all the time in this industry. But to be offended that you are reaching out to someone, asking something of them, and then they let you know they need to be compensated for their time, to be offended by that is wild. Anytime somebody's had an adverse reaction to that, they go on my to never collaborate with list.
Yeah.
Never, ever.
yeah.
Because I can tell right now that you're going to not ever respect my time. You are living in, I'm the main character in other people's stories land. And I'm not down with that.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So I guess we didn't really give our opinion on free collabs. I think they're fine as long as there's communication on what the expectations are. I think if you say you're going to do something, do it, and don't, leave people hanging.
Yeah. It's like, and if you're the person asking for it, be careful about how you go about that. Be mindful.
Be
If you're going to ask for a collaboration, don't just assume that they like owe it to you to be a part of your project. Nobody owes you anything. You are making an ask, and if they come with the price, don't be offended by that. That's them and their decision. That's their business. I mean, I don't do what I do for free. I mean, it's so.
Yeah. We all have to earn a living.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that concludes our segment. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we wrap things up? Anything that's been on your mind, music industry related?
Nope. I'm good.
I don't think I have anything either. I had a great time doing this.
Me too.
Yeah, I'd like to do it again in the future. If you liked this segment, please let me know by leaving a comment. And we'll do some more in the future. I've actually got a lot more stories here that Aiden sourced for us. Aiden helps us out here. And he did a great job picking them out. I skimmed through some of them, and it's actually like...
Is Aiden low-key the producer of the show? Isn't that what producers do?
Yeah, I mean, he's also editing this. Yeah.
Nice.
Producer.
Way to go, Aiden.
I'll put
Producer
it in the
Aiden.
credits.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the credits.
I like it.
And yeah, he did a wonderful job sourcing the stories for this. And it actually kills me that we can't just actually go through all of them tonight.
Yeah.
We would be here for 24 hours.
I know he's the one that's going to see this, but I'm just going to say it real quick. A gem.
We love Aiden.
I mean,
Leave this
Aiden.
in. Leave this in, Aiden. Don't cut it out.
No, really. Does
We're big Aiden
does
fans.
solid work all the time, and just
Yep.
just has this good character quality.
Very respectful.
Yes, good.
Very
Just a good dude, man. You're awesome.
good head on his shoulders. Yeah. Yep. The people deserve to know, Aiden. Yeah. If you need a producer in Houston, he's in the producer world too, and the videography world. Okay. That's it. Subscribe. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Stomp that like bar. Okay. Clearly time for me to go to bed. Good night.